Hey folks, just arrived here at the hangar. Uh, Today should be a fairly epic day. We've been doing a lot of little minutia stuff. Today is kind of going to be a big deal because we're going to put the tail cones on the end of the nacelles. It accomplishes a lot. It gets the parts off the floor, but it also starts making the airplane look even more complete. It'll make it a little daunting to get in there and make the space fairly dark. So when we're in there, we'll almost have to have lights, but well worth the time and effort to do this. So the first thing I'm going to do is get here in the library and figure out the hardware needs to put those tail cones on. So stand by. Okay, here's the illustrated parts catalog. There's the tail cone. And then here's the attaching hardware. AN3-6A, AN917Y, and AN365-1032. So I'll get the hardware rounded up and we'll get Jan and Dave down here. We'll see if we can't get these things hung up. So this is interesting. You know, go to the IPC and it says to use this, and this is how many. It says number 10 bolts, and it calls for 6 of them. Well, both of these nacelle caps take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bolts to hold them on, and also they're 1/4-28. They are not 3/16. And we need to first thing we need to do is chase all the threads, because the book also called for bolts, washers, and nuts. These have a plated nut built into them, so we got to chase the threads before we can hang these. So stand by. Okay, that takes care of that. So we'll get some cameras set up here and get ready to install this thing. All right, I'm ready if you're ready, Jan. You need my help to get it over here? One started. Alright, let me put a few. Yeah, that's not going to work. I need to, oh, I got it here. Okay. Okay, I just need to get a ratchet, get these tight. Fantastic. What's that? Yeah, I still got 4 to do. Still got 4 bolts to do. Okay, let's go see what this looks like. Oh, that looks really cool. This end cap would have, from Douglas, had an auxiliary power unit called a putt-putt sitting in here, and we're hoping to find one of those and put back in here. And here would be where the exhaust for the putt-putt would come out. We had one of these on before. But this is the first time we've really seen this permanently mounted. So, yeah, like I said earlier, adds a whole new dimension. I'm sorry?
Engine's bent.
Yeah, and that's the vent for the engines. Now, it's interesting, these two tail cones are different. I think that this was a Douglas original configuration where it was just flush with the end, and there were 2 tubes. The only one we understand is the engine vent. Don't know what this one was. But on the other one, hold on. The other one has 2 external tubes that were added in later on in life. Don't really understand why that was the deal. So, if you guys know, let me know in the comments. And I'm ready. You got it, Jan? It's heavier than the other one. You want Dave's help? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I just gotta be pretty close, right about right there. Hold still. Oh. You got it? Okay, let's try this again. Try not to hit my elbow. Right about there. Come on. Okay, got one. This one up here. All right, give me a second. Yeah, it's not going nowhere. Okay. Yeah. So now we're hanging the other side. And then this side would have been for alcohol, for de-icing the windshields and de-icing the props. And so that's what this big band strap is about. That tank that we painted last week, we'll put that in here, and it's not going to be a functional, but it would be kind of a cool artifact. And that's what, you probably can't see it, but on this side is the plumbing for that. So we'll get that all cleaned up. So it looks good. Okay. You know what, Jen, I need Glico pliers. Oh, no, I don't. They're out here. I'm lying to you. All right. Okay. The wrench on these. This is the one that the tail cone we had mounted, but just to envision what we were doing something. It's been several years ago, but we took it back off because we knew we needed to clean this up and get everything painted. So we're at that point. Just throw your wrench down, Bob. Okay. All right. Well, let's go see what this looks like. Hey, looky there. Let's go upstairs. It's a hot one today. It's supposed to be mid-90s. Okay. It's really starting to look like a complete airplane. There's that tail cone and that tail cone. Looks beautiful. Okay. It's a groovy day at the airport. Okay, so now we got these tail cones on these nacelles, and I have a question for you viewers out there. We've pretty much figured out what we want to do for a paint scheme on the airplane. So we've got yellow wingtips on all, the wings, all the tail surfaces. We have yellow accents on certain panels underneath and on top of the wings. And the wings are going to be silver gray sepia tone. Fuselage is going to be polished. But now let's talk about the nacelles. Not quite sure what we want to do here. There are polished nacelles out there. There are painted black nacelles out there. There are all black airplanes out there. There's another airplane out of Carson City called Keck in the Ass, and it's got a bluish gray paint. So my question to you guys is, what should we do? I'll wait for your comments and see what you guys think. So anyway, stand by. Okay, I've been talking to some of my other A26 buddies, and I got a little education on what the vents were on these nacelles. So we think these extensions were put on here to try to get whatever vent is coming out to go straight out rather than trying to wrap back up on the nacelle. Don't know that for sure, but did find out that the reason there were two vents, one was the crankcase vents and the other was the fuel vent in the fuel system that Douglas originally designed. Well, when Onmark reconfigured the airplane, they put our fuel tank vents here. It also serves to pressurize the fuel system to have positive pressure on the fuel to go into the airplane. And these were all daisy chained through. So there's the inboard auxiliary tank, there's the main tank, which is right in there, and then there were three outboard bladders here, here, and here, and they also would have utilized the water tank for the water injection to the engines. Those were all made into fuel. And so in the front here, there's some crazy piping that would have put all these together. So my goal right now is to get into the nacelles and get the vent. I'm going to start on the left side, and I'm going to get the crankcase vent. This is what I was talking about. We don't have a second tube. Somebody had already started eliminating this, and nobody has ever put an extension pipe on this. So we'll see what happens there. But so I'm climbing into the nacelle, and we're going to put a pipe that goes from there, and it's going to come up to here and connect into this vent pipe for the crankcase, which goes all the way up there, and it goes across the top of the fuel tank and and over the top of the oil tank, and then the crankcase vents up to a fitting on the firewall. So let me get this going and we'll go from there. All right, so we'll get some O-ring lube on the pipe and on the hoses so that everything will kind of slide together fairly easily. Get those clamps tightened up and see what I can do about a P-clamp. So hold the phone. Alright, I'm going to bring this up snug and I'll finish it. I'll finish it with the two wrenches. Okay, and with that is all installed. So now to go work on the other side, which is much more complicated because of structures in there. Okay then, that's a good day. Okay, this is what I was talking about in this other nacelle. So this is where the alcohol tank will go, and the tubes are there and there, and they've got to come up and intersect there, and we're going to do something with that hole there because that's just a vacuum. The problem is that we can't get the alcohol tank in here with the end cap on here. Okay. All right, so we can now have the pipes on this side. Like I said, this is pretty complicated affair. Okay, we did have to take the tail cone back off in order to get that tank in there. And it comes with this handy dandy little dipstick to tell you how much we got in here. Now we happen to know this is a 20-gallon tank. But this says we've got the ability to have 6 gallons. So I'm sure this came off of the original when they had a shorter tank in here.
6 gallons until it runs out of
And I could see why they would want to have more alcohol. Okay, we'll get this thing reinstalled and go from there. Got the tank in, got the tail cone on. We got the vent pipes all hooked up and clamped up. We still have a couple more clamps we got to put up there. But for all intents and purposes, this is ready. So, pretty exciting. It looks really groovy too. Okay. It's the end of a epic day here at the hangar. Got the tail cones on. Got all of that alcohol tank stuff in there. The pilot seat's back in. I just want to say thanks for watching our videos and seeing what we're doing here. And if you haven't subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you would. And I'm tired. I'm going to go hit the train and go home. You guys have a great day.